Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel and the weekly wrap-up. Big question. Are we getting closer to shit hitting the fan, or are we getting further away? Are things getting better, or are they getting worse? Are people getting smarter, or are they getting stupider, right? It's obvious, at least it is to me. People are not getting smarter. In fact, we're seeing more and more stupid, and a lot of it. Definitely, I think we're getting closer to shit hitting the fan. I've got some great evidence to give you. And I like to cover the whole spectrum. I don't look at one little subject. I look at all of them. Because they're all important and they're all also interconnected. It is not just one thing, right? One thing can bring down another and another and another and spread wide, kind of like dominoes, right? Dominoes stacked, dominoes falling. So let's take a look at what happened just this week. Once again, I'm not taking the year in review or the decade. I'm looking at just this week. What has happened with just this week that shows we're getting closer to shit hitting the fan, that you need to be a prepper, that you need to have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, right? We have to have those things. It is no longer, well, that's kind of a good idea. Or maybe I'll have a little bit, or, I'll kind of think about that and come up with some kind of a little plan, but I don't need to really worry about it. Listen, that time we don't need to worry about it, that was over 10 years ago, right? When people were like, okay, woo, we got past that 2008 crash, got some hard economic times, but things are okay, they're going to get better. Confidence in government, confidence in the money, confidence in our economy. It'll be restored, nothing to worry about. Well, about 5 years ago, I started seeing the worries come back hard and hard. Hard and harder, and hard and fast also. And that's when I started doing these videos. It's been 5 years since then, 10 years since the crash. And now we're getting back to where we're going to have another crash. Every single problem that caused the crash in '08 still exists. In fact, there are more problems now. It's just not the housing bubble, the subprime bubble. It's not just the derivatives issue. It is a derivatives issue. The same housing bubble is back. But wages this whole time have basically been stagnant, while expenses have gone up. People are more in debt now than they were back then. Same with corporations and governments, all the way up to the federal government and internationally around the world. It's not just an American problem, it's everywhere. So let's look at what's happening everywhere in America, just everywhere. Okay, so let's just start with a big one. Ford Motor Company, massive corporation. In fact, Henry Ford came up with the assembly line, which was to have a streamlined assembly process to make things faster, more efficient, simpler for workers to learn, reduce costs, right? Great idea, fabulous. Thanks, Henry. You're a hell of a good guy. Despite having the assembly line, despite having computer technology, CNC machining, assembly robots, etc., Ford is still in trouble. Despite having massively smart accountants, right? Management, executive management that has degrees in college. It's still not saving Ford. They're going to lay off 12,000 people in Europe. Right? 12,000 people, 4 people in a family, that's close to 50,000 people are going to be directly affected. And those 50,000 people, wherever they spend their money, buy their food, they're going to affect businesses around them. Dominoes. Dominoes, dominoes. Okay? I've got a nice list for this week. So what else? Well, we've been having this pissing match between the United States government and the Iranian government and its people. Now, the Ayatollah, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei of Iran, has come out and said, the United States government, the administration, the president, they're retarded. That is quite an indictment coming from the Ayatollah. And the United States government is threatening worse and worse sanctions. In fact, they're going to impose sanctions all over Iran. Going to make it worse, going to make it harder. How is that going to make it better? I don't know. What they're expecting is what? Iran to just say, okay, we quit, right? And then what? Do things magically get better for Iran? No, that's not how it works. You see, the World Trade System, to do commerce from country to country, they use, let's just call it the internet, but it's the SWIFT internet. It's called the SWIFT system. And it's how you transfer and clear money around the world from country to country using US dollars in trade. That's why the United States dollar is the world reserve currency. The world reserves it to use for their business. And if you piss the United States off, they kick you off of the SWIFT system. Just like you don't pay your bill, they turn off your internet. You piss the United States government off, they take you out of the SWIFT system. You can't trade currency. You can't do international transactions. And if a country that is a good buddy of the U.S. starts trading with somebody like Iran, the U.S. will sanction them and take them off the SWIFT system. You see how this punitive, I'm the daddy mentality of the United States financial system keeps other countries in line, keeps countries down. Guess what? An alternative system has now been launched and introduced this week to bypass the SWIFT system. Now, Germany, France, Italy, the EU, Russia, China, Japan, Australia, any country can do business with Iran since they're going to use a different system. What does that do? It takes the power away from the U.S. and it makes the U.S. dollar less desirable. In other words, here's another additional way that de-dollarization is going to occur. It's been occurring by China, Japan, Russia, other countries saying we don't need those treasury bills. We don't need United States currency from the Federal Reserve. We don't need it. And they're giving it back. They're de-dollarizing, right? China has set up the petro yuan to kind of compete with the petrodollar. China wants to use their yuan to buy oil from the Middle East. And who are they buying it for or from largely currently? Saudi Arabia. But guess what? They can turn around and buy from Iran and settle in currency other and use a trading system for settlement other than the SWIFT system and the US dollar. Now, just a couple of years ago, they started talking about countries moving away and not needing the dollar anymore. And everyone went, bullshit. Well, guess what? Here we are. The U.S. is losing its authority, its stranglehold over the world economy. It's coming faster and faster. Everything is getting compressed, right? And so we're not seeing, to get from here to here is 10 events. So it takes a little while to get 10 events stacked in there. Now, here's the time frame, 10 events, right? And they're happening faster, faster, faster all the time. It's hard for me to keep up, and I'm paying attention, right? Imagine the world that isn't paying attention. How surprised, shocked, and upset they're going to be when they realize they're fucked, right? The world has changed, and they weren't ready for it. Trump, the G20, the Osaka meeting, up in the air. You know, they're going to say, oh, yeah, we're happy with it. We're not happy with it. We're almost there. Everyone's saved. None of it matters. If they've got no deal, it doesn't matter. Because I don't have more money to buy Chinese shit anyways. Most people don't. Whether it's a good deal or a bad deal or it's almost there or it's canceled, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the amount of money I have to buy anything. And the other problem we're having with the automobile market in the United States, the automobiles on the road are getting older and older and older and older at an ever-increasing rate because nobody can afford to buy more cars, right? That's why Ford is getting rid of European employees, and they're also cutting back here. There's plans in the making. Check out my video from yesterday where I talk about major corporations, right? Major corporations and minor corporations, but majors also are looking to the future, seeing where we're heading, and they're making their plans so they can make the cuts, so they don't get hurt as bad, so they can keep their businesses up. It is an ugly situation. So Xi and Trump, I think it just doesn't matter. If they come to a great deal and everyone's happy, yeah, the stock market will go up, but that doesn't make more money. The stock market will rise, but it doesn't put more cash in our pockets. It doesn't help, in other words, all of the debt, both on the Chinese and the American side. It doesn't fix the private, public, or personal debt. It just doesn't help. So here's another shot, right? Pow, right to the heart. The Boeing 737, the super crap, I think that's what they're going to rename it, is the super crap, right? They did an investigation. They released a report. It says there's an uncontrollable nosedive potential, right? And Boeing is one of the biggest U.S. exporters, if not the biggest, selling our airplanes, United States airplanes, around the world. If people have no confidence because these things are crashing or have crashed, and they pulled them out of the air, said no more. They've tried cutting corners, streamlining things, making them cheaper, computerizing everything, and guess what? It's not a good airframe. It's not a good air structure. It's not a good air vessel. It's crashing. No one's going to buy it. They're going to buy Airbus. They're going to keep their old fleets going as long as they can while they come up with a more efficient, less expensive, and safe plane. The United States is going to be very, very hurt over Boeing fucking this up so bad. It could come down to one person, just one engineer somewhere, or maybe one executive manager that said, no, I don't like that. Let's go with the cheaper version. And that decision has hurt Boeing and will hurt the United States and the entire world economy. Now, when we talk about having gold and silver or stocks, equities, right, paper on Wall Street, that's what we talk about with counterparty risk. Once you have gold and silver in your hand, guess what? There's no more risk. You own it. Someone can make a bad decision over there and it doesn't affect your wealth. If they do make a bad decision over there, the wealth in your hand probably will go up because whatever they did just screwed their shit up, made your stuff more valuable. But if you've got some paper, you're holding paper on Boeing or Nissan or Honda or Toyota or Ford or General Mills, right? All of these food companies that are putting poisonous food out that's contaminated, that's the second or third party risk out there. Someone else makes a mistake and your paper becomes worthless, right? So more people, as these problems are produced, they're going to run over to gold and silver. Safe havens is what they call them. Safe haven investing, where their money can be safe, protected, right? And that is what we'll see as the market comes down. Now, bonds. This week, guess what? Bond yields went down even more, right? People are running to bonds. This safe haven move is happening right now, even though the economy is fine. Greatest economy ever. Trump is a brilliant mastermind. The Fed is a brilliant mastermind. Congress and Nancy Pelosi, they're so brilliant. Look at this economy. Yet people are running to safe havens. They even ran to gold and silver. Bitcoin went way up and then it started coming down again. Not what I would call a safe haven, but still. That's the desperation level that people with investment capital have, is they want to get away from stocks. In other words, we're going to see a stock market crash. Crash. All right, now let's look at some social stuff. Eric Trump, son of President Donald J. Trump, he was at a bar, nightclub, restaurant place in Chicago. An employee of that place came up, made a bunch of Trump comments, and spat in his face. Is that civil? Is that nice? Is that intelligent? Is that tolerable? I'm supposed to tolerate everybody out there. Everybody of a different color or religion or sexual persuasion or personal pronoun identification. I'm supposed to be considerate of people regardless of gender or age, economic status. But if you are a conservative, you get spit in the face. Right? We're going to have some social chaos as far as I'm concerned. And it's coming. And when people are hungry, scared, thirsty, scared, poor, scared, they're going to react badly. The women's soccer team, the U.S. women's soccer team came out, and the chick in charge, that's what I'm going to call her, she said, quote, "I'm not going to the fucking White House." Right? Why do they have to be so aggressively hateful? Right? I'm just a little guy on this little YouTube channel on Patreon, right? Who am I? Nothing. I don't go stand in front of the mainstream media and have tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and even billions of people hearing me say, fuck the White House, essentially, and fuck Donald Trump, and fuck America. Isn't the U.S. soccer team, doesn't the U.S., as in the U.S. public, pay for that? I think if they want to have a soccer team, fine. I think they should also have to go out and what? Go stand in front of Walmart, go stand in front of CVS pharmacies, and collect money in a tin can from people, coin by coin, to pay for your fucking your team. And you can wear whatever jersey you want and say whatever shit you want. You're privatized. Get off the public dole. Get away from corporate sponsors, right? Because these people hide behind their corporate sponsors while they punish us. They punish us. They take away our freedom of speech and our freedom to hear what other people have to say by censoring us. But they can come out and say stupid shit like that. Closer to shit it's the fan, or socially we're getting further, or socially are we getting closer? It's pretty obvious to me. We're going to have nothing but trouble from these fools. All right. Oh, speaking of fools, you're going to love this one, right? the Ayatollah calls Trump a retard, right? They're like, fuck you, we're not coming to the White House, says the soccer team that's a little bit too, probably a little on too much testosterone. Trump says that Mario Draghi, head of the ECB, European Central Bank, should be in charge of the Federal Reserve. Mario Draghi, who managed to lose all of Italy's gold when they set up the EU system, the European Union, it needed financial backing. They used Italian gold. Long-term financial capital was the corporation that it was done with, and they lost it. That was Mario Draghi, who then got promoted to the ECB, European Central Bank, where he has been in far worse shape than the United States, right? He's at 0% interest in Europe, and they're having problems. He says, hey, don't worry, we got lots of tools in our toolbox. That's what he said this week. Like, toolbox? It's not a fucking toolbox, it's paper. They make it sound like they're actually building stuff and doing things. These people are promoting themselves, making it seem like they actually do something. They sit at a boardroom and go, let's cut some rates. That's not a toolbox. That's just saying the system's broke. Let's see if we can keep it going a little longer. But they don't really do anything. There's not really any tools. The only tools in that room are the people wearing neckties and wearing business suits. Good God. Anyways, not only did Trump say he should be in charge of the Fed, he called Powell that Fed person. He didn't even refer to him by name this week. This rancor between the White House and the Federal Reserve, and particularly Chairman Powell, is the name calling him a Fed person. And he quoted, he's a nobody, that I made him by giving him that job. Trump says, I made him. So Powell is a made man, is he? Right? He was promoted by mob on high. I mean, the terminology is getting to me. It's starting to get to me. These people, they're not in their right fucking minds. Merrill Lynch this week, they were found guilty of thousands of counts of manipulating the precious metals markets. $25 million fine for doing billions of dollars in theft and damage? Right. They needed to juice the Dow Jones. They need to make it look good. They need lots of confidence in the currency, lots of confidence in Wall Street. So let's keep people out of precious metals, right? Let's keep those prices down, because if gold were to shoot to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, it doesn't say the dollar is worse compared to anything except the gold, which is taking more dollars to buy that 1 ounce of gold. It's saying gold is strong and the dollar is not. Right? We're going to see a currency collapse. Currency versus currency, yeah. And gold may go up in relation to all of them. Now, this is not understood by most Americans. Around the world right now, just this week, gold has gone up a lot. last month and a half, it's really gone up a lot, right? It's doing its 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but it's going forward and up. Around the world, gold is really going up because those currencies are very weak compared to gold. And now it's starting to look like the dollar is weakening compared to gold. That is a vote of no confidence in the US dollar fiat currency system, right? Merrill Lynch, right, was found guilty, and Deutsche Bank has, and Jamie Dimon over there at JP Morgan Bank, they're all doing this, and they're getting caught, and they're getting little hand slaps. But it's becoming evident to more and more people that gold and silver have a lot more value, that they've been held back, and that gold and silver as safe havens are going to be where the money goes. That's the flight to safety, right? Flight to quality. Now, buying bonds, back to bonds, the bond rates have been going down. And then the odds of a default, the U.S. government will never default. Give me a break. Governments have defaulted in all of history. The only ones that haven't defaulted on their debts are the ones that still exist today, right? So if your country's alive today, it hasn't defaulted yet. But there's a good chance the U.S. could default if our economy tanks, as it's being predicted. Go back and look at the last couple of days of my videos. Many banks, many bank employees in big banks with big brains have come out and said, yeah, the economy's coming down. Big hedge fund, big fund management guys like Gunlock, right? They're coming out and saying, yeah, get gold, and yeah, we're going to have a crash. There's a 20%, a 40% reduction we're seeing. It's going to come either at the end of this year or next year, but it's here. We're already seeing signs of the economic slowdown. They revalued Q1 2019. They went in and adjusted the values of the GDP, down, right? They come out and they make it sound really good, and then they readjust them later down. Everything is coming down, right? So Merrill Lynch, thank you for putting, you're doing your part in screwing everything up. Because rather than being adults and standing up and saying, okay, we've got a lot of debt, we need to quit spending money, entitlement programs need to be cut, illegals get the fuck out of here, we're going to stop protecting the world with our military, we're just going to be concerned about our nation, we're going to pull back, take care of ourselves, do some good trading, get some good honest deals, right? Let's play fair. Sure. Protect our country while we pay back all the debts that we have. Because in order to pay for what we're doing now, today, our government is spending money in the next generation and the generation after that. They are indebting generations of people. It's incredible. They're borrowing from the future, saying, yeah, we'll pay you back later. It's cool, just to get through today. And it's taking more and more debt just to get through one day here. Right? We had, it's just incredible. The debt spending by the federal government's incredible. Now, they can do that. Their source of income is you and me. We're the debt slaves. I can't borrow any money beyond what I'm allowed or capable of paying back next month. Right? They go, John, your debt to income ratio is too low. We're not going to loan you a penny. Whoops. Right? I'm done. My goose is cooked. That's how it works for us, not for the government. They're going to go into debt in such a way that they'll finally not even be able to make the interest payments, let alone pay down the principal. But we don't want to accept responsibility and pay it off. We're just going to keep going into debt to the point that we default. Crazy. Now, speaking of government and irresponsibility, in order to try and stop some problems that were occurring last week, and in order to pump up the stock market just a little bit more on some good news, the mainstream media came out and fake newsed everybody. They said that Mnuchin, right, came out and said, oh yeah, we're 80% of the way there. We're almost done with this China deal, right? And they wanted to juice the Dow Jones, juice the stock market, raise hope. Turns out that's not what he said. That's not what he said. They completely lied, took him out of context. The mainstream media, right? They're complicit in market manipulation. It is crazy, right? And then I'm going to just finalize this. You need to get food. Right? We do food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We do all that, but food. If you're a prepper, you need to get out and get food right now for next year. Right? We have our corn issue here in the United States. Right? We've got more flooding this week that occurred. More flooding just this week. If there's not heat, if there's not good sunshine, the corn can't grow. If the fields are flooded and muddy and mucky, the corn can't germinate and grow properly. It's going to be drowning, sick. Right? And if it keeps getting more rain, it's not going to get the heat, the energy, and the proper soil conditions to grow big, strong, and have good yields. Our corn is going to go down. So what's going to happen? Guess what? I said, well, chickens, cows, steer, and pork, pigs. They eat the corn stalks and everything that comes from the cornfields that's chopped up and made into feed. So I said, guess what? It's going to cost more to feed those pigs. It's going to cost more to feed those pigs, right? So pork prices are going to go up. Chicken prices are going to go up. Beef prices are going to go up. We use corn to make corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup sweeteners in all of our processed foods. Guess what's going to happen? Prices are going to go up on all of your foods. Prices on cane sugar and beet sugar are going to go up because corn has gone up and there's going to be less of it, so there's going to be more demand on beet sugar and cane sugar. But it's not just that. Over in China, their pig population is being it's beyond decimation. Decimation is killing 1 in 10. They've already lost 30% of their pigs, and it looks like that estimate for the year is going to go up even higher. Their prices have already gone up horribly high. They're not going to be able to afford it, nor are they going to have enough meat. Because pigs in China are the same way we have cows here. That's their major source of meat. They're losing their pig population. So where do you think they're going to get replacement? They're going to come here to the United States. They're going to buy our pork from our farmers who want to make more money because the price is going up. So guess what? There's going to be less pork in the store, which means beef prices will go up, chicken prices will go up, fish prices will go up, pork prices, bacon will go up. Everything's going to go up. Right? In China, guess what? They've got this thing called the fall army beetle, fall army worm. It's a parasitic issue with their crops. Eats soybeans, eats corn, eats rice. It's destroying their crops, and it's the worst year they've had in a long time. They're going to have extreme food shortage, which means in China, their food cost is going to go up, and they're going to be looking to the rest of the world to make up the difference. So they're going to come over here and buy our foodstuffs, which means there's going to be more of a shortage over here, which means next year you can expect to see massive increases in food costs, not just 5% or 6% or 8%. I am expecting it to be much bigger, and we'll find out the truth. John's prediction, John, you're an alarmist. Sky is falling, Chicken Little, right? Here we are. If you already own food, lots of rice, lots of wheat, right? If you already own lots of preps, canned meats, guess what? You're not going to get screwed. Not the way everyone else is that isn't prepared. So being a prepper, yeah, chance does favor the prepared mind, does it not? Have we been wrong? No, things are getting absolutely horrible. They're getting worse, not better. Things are going to get more expensive. Government's going to get more intrusive. Holy crap. Weekly wrap-up. Ouch. They're getting more painful. And I'm going to stop right there because we're at half an hour. Half an hour for this video. And I've touched the hell out of the subjects, but there's a lot more things that are happening. Like I said, this compression where it took a long time to go from A to B before, now A and B are very close, and there's just nothing but problems stacked. And they come at me all day long. I was doing 2 videos a day, then 3, then 4, and it's hard to keep up, right? Because videos take a long time to make and to get uploaded to you guys. I want to get the information out. You only have so much time to watch, so I got to try and condense and get as much information, vital information, into every video for you. And I want to thank you guys for supporting. You watch the commercials, you pay over at Patreon, you support everything we do so we can continue to get this information out. And I'm going to continue to try and keep it as dense, as compact as I can, and get you the most information on every subject. So one day I'll miss something, the next day I'll be all over it and make sure you get the information. I want to thank you for supporting us, though. Thank you. Thank you very much. Because without you guys, there'd be no reason for me to do this. But because you want to hear it, because you need this information, because you know it's vital. And you can now pass this on. Pass on this video to others. Share it with people who need to get prepared. Because if they don't, they will pay for it later. Come hell or high water, you know, by hook or by crook, get them to become a prepper and start seeing that they need to put things aside for now. Because later, they're really going to appreciate having it. You guys be cool. Chance favors. The prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi. Godspeed.